Welcome to the complex exam, the very first session of the complex exam for cardio-intensive group. My name is Turan, and I had the privilege and the pleasure of being the scientific methodology supervisor for the cardio-intensive group and all of its 12 students. So first and foremost, congratulations. Take a deep breath, you made it. A big round of applause for all the students who made it. Of course, as usual, we are here mostly to celebrate your success and not to test you. Let's talk a little bit about why and what we have tried to achieve, and let's see if we have managed to achieve it or not. So, as we know, we are faced with multiple healthcare challenges of multiple different domains and perspectives. And for healthcare challenges to be resolved, we need scientific input. And the scientific input is only possible with talented young people who have creative ideas that they can put on the table. But this is not always enough. We also need the patient care, the bedside management of healthcare challenges. And for such, we need healthcare professionals who are dedicated to patient care, but maybe more importantly, these healthcare practitioners should be scientifically oriented. But even in an ideal world, this is not always enough. And we can see this by looking at the statistics from European Union countries in terms of shares of avoidable deaths. Now, unfortunately, annually 1.7 million people lose their lives in the European Union. And 1.2 million out of these are avoidable, meaning that they are treatable or they are preventable causes of mortality. And if you take a look at the breakdown by countries, you can see that the share of avoidable deaths are ranging from 80% to 60%, with the European Union average being 68%. And unfortunately, Hungary is quite leading in the amount and ratio of avoidable deaths. So this is to say that our work is nowhere near being done. Looking at these healthcare challenges, we came up with the so-called new cycle model, which was established and now it is being worked by the Academia Europaea, that is consisting of more than 5,000 experienced researchers, among which 92 Nobel laureates count themselves as members of Academia Europaea. And the position paper about the translational medicine approach has also been published, co-authored by the members of the Academia Europaea. And in this new approach, we are conceptualizing a sort of medical treatment and patient care methodology where healthcare services, science and knowledge and the communication of these scientific results are all playing into the same system. And with this vision, we started our postgraduate education as the Center for Translational Medicine in Pécs in 2019, just before COVID started. And the humble program we started at the University of Pécs with 20 students have grown into this massive institution and framework of infrastructure that you can see in Semmelweis University. We have 4 years of students currently, and at each year we have around 90 PhD students. And we are also very happy to see that our students are not only coming from the territory of Hungary, but as you can see from the map, we have students from all over the world. There are 24 different countries from which our students are originating. But has this system worked? So let's take a look at what our colleagues at the St. George Hospital of Székesfehérvár have achieved by asking a very simple clinical question. Why do we use antibiotics in nearly 80% of cases for non-infectious diseases? And what our colleagues realized is that by implementing scientific data and the interpretation of scientific results, they could reduce the unnecessary antibiotic usage by 30% in their hospital, which translated into a cumulative decrease of length of hospitalization in their hospital by 164 days. This means 164 days they could treat more patients. And in Bajcsy Zsilinszky Hospital, which is found in Budapest, our colleagues asked which surgical technique is the most effective in minimizing recurrence rates in cholesteatoma. Our colleague, who just defended her PhD thesis as well, has written her project about this and continued her studies and looked at their own data, looked at nationwide data, and looked at Europe-wide data. And finally, by determining what was the optimal surgical method, they could reduce the recurrence rate of cholesteatoma in Hungarian patients by 13%. But of course, we don't even have to mention we are in the Semmelweis University, and the original inspiration for our clinical work is coming from the Vienna General Hospital from 1846. I'm sure you know the story. Very simple question. Why is the maternal mortality rate significantly higher in the first obstetrics clinic of Vienna compared to the second clinic? And this was a retrospective study of 5 years, taking a look at the differences of deliveries in the first clinic and mortality in the first clinic compared to the second clinic. And the person who conducted this clinical study was Ignaz Semmelweis. And of course, nowadays we know him as the savior of mothers for what he has achieved by implementing his scientific findings into the bedside. So we can see that what makes this system work is the so-called systems education, which is made up of 4 pillars. A hard skills pillar, a biostatistics pillar, soft skills, which is comprising of leadership and article management and scientific communication, and of course, continuous monitoring and continuous development of the projects of our PhD students. And as you know, this is not easy. And we have expectations from our students, and our students have expectations from us. And currently, we are going to hear the end of the journey, end of the 2-year journey for our second-year PhD students, who started with 89 colleagues, and 84 colleagues could come to the stage where they are going to take the complex exam. So until this point, they have done their first articles, they have written it, they have investigated and analyzed it, and they have submitted it for publication, with nearly half of it being either accepted or being in revision at the moment. And finally, what is going to happen following the complex exam is that we will expect our PhD fellows to finalize their second projects as well and submit and publish them, and finally they will get to have their PhD degrees and start their work in their clinics and in their life as independent researchers. So as I mentioned, we started with around 89 students. They're coming from very different backgrounds, different nations, different fields, and different domains of medicine, and different ages as well. So far, 68 students are going to take their complex exams in the coming days, and 16 of these students will take their complex exam in August. And so far, from these students who are going to be taking their complex exams now, 10 students were able to publish in D1 journals their first projects, and 8 of them were able to publish their studies in Q1 journals. So in this systems education, we also saw that the first year PhD students, around 82% of them, something around 70 students, were actually able to finalize their first projects. And right now, this is where we stand. At the end of the year 2, every PhD fellow you see in the audience today have finalized and submitted their first projects. And in the year 3, we expect all of them to submit their second projects, and we will be happy to call them fellows of PhD. And so far with the systems education model, we were able to publish in some of the world's most highly ranked journals, regardless of domain or field of medicine. We have everything from public health to pediatrics to gastroenterology, and maybe, of course, my favorite, critical care. And just an overlook at the Translational Medicine Center in numbers. We are working with more than 600 people. That includes PhD students, but it also includes people like me and people like my colleague Tamás, who are in the background helping the projects settle and be conceptualized and be finalized. We are currently working on 700 scientific projects, which is a number that is almost unheard of in the entire region, not only in Hungary. And so far in the previous 4 years, we could achieve a cumulative impact factor of our publications of 1,577, which is again an incredibly large number that is almost too difficult to believe. So it is not to say that it's a dream to see Hungary as a global leader in science education. We have the people, we have the tools, and we have the methodology to make this happen. And so we launched from curiosity to career the National Academy of Scientist Education, the NACE, and we protocolized the systems education in clinical research. And we communicated our findings and our opinions in Nature Medicine. And considering the science to society aspects, we also published our findings and our recommendations for the larger global clinical research community, again in Nature Medicine. And of course, the director of our program, Peter Hegyi, is also very active in trying to get in touch and motivate and inspire other universities as well. Because we see that what we are doing is needed, it is necessary, but maybe more importantly, it works. So this is how we built the foundations of the Translational Medicine program, with healthcare benefit for our patients, with academic benefit for our students, and by giving the tools that is necessary for our colleagues to spread the message and improve patient care at the bedside in their healthcare institutions as well. So I would like to show you a short video about the National Academy of Scientist Education program. If I may ask for help from the colleagues to start the video.
Science is an indispensable element of progress and the future. Science changes lives when discovery leads to action. The National Academy of Scientist Education makes this happen through 2 programs. The Discovery Science Program, which focuses on nurturing future researchers, and the Translational Science Program, which turns knowledge into real-world applications.
I think the development is fantastic. When I came first time, it was a program centered in Szeged, with students coming from different parts of Hungary. But meanwhile, the program has developed into 2 branches, and actually one of these branches aims at revolutionizing science education in all of Hungary.
I don't think you can be a good physician today without understanding science, without doing science at some time in your life. asking questions, critical questions, analyzing the literature.
The Translational Medicine Hybrid PhD program, launched in 2016, aims to provide healthcare professionals with the knowledge essential to translate scientific results to their patients' benefits. Since 2019, 50 students, including doctors, dietitians, psychologists, and economists, have defended their PhD theses as part of the program. To date, more than 350 PhD students and 200 mentors from 24 countries have joined the international program. Recently, the program has accelerated significantly with the support of Semmelweis University, the government of Hungary, and Academia Europaea. Healthcare professionals have been able to demonstrably improve the quality of patient care in a short time, which, in addition to its positive social impact, has also resulted in cost-effective patient care.
If they choose to develop career in science, they will have the view of the entire distance between the patient bed and the route to try and cure and help and develop drugs like we do.
Besides the several professional and social events, students of secondary schools and universities, as well as healthcare professionals, can attend the meetings of Nobel laureates and talented students, which are organized by the Academy twice a year. At the conferences, approximately 2,000 guests, pupils, students, mentors, doctors, and other faculty members can listen to scientific presentations of professional quality, participate in educational events, and meet or talk to Nobel Prize-winning scientists and internationally renowned researchers. Since the first meeting in 2012, the Academy has held 24 successful conferences, with the prestigious participation of 18 Nobel laureates hailing from different parts of the world.
First of all, I have a tremendous admiration and inspiration by what is done here to this program. This program is unique around the world. It's very special. It's not only going to improve Hungary, it's going to improve not only Central Europe, it's going to be a motor for progress, innovation, and a better world around the world.
The capital that you are building through this program, human capital, social capital, and potential economic capital, this is a great investment, and I really think that every country should have programs like this, and I think that you should invest as much as you can afford it.
Peter Higi convinced me that it's a good idea to train young people of the area of Szeged, and knowing Peter Higi, I know that he's a very hard worker, very enthusiastic, and I just got infected by his enthusiasm. All I can say is I'm very impressed, and I hope it continues like this.
Very brief housekeeping info for everyone. The presentations are going to be 10 minutes, and we will have 20-minute period for question and answer. The other innovation is, of course, that we expect everyone who is a second-year student in the audience to ask at least one question, which we are going to be taking down. And this is going to be required for you to receive your complex exam degree. So please keep in mind that you have to ask some questions, okay? And of course, our other favorite innovation is not only the first question, but the second and the third question is going to be followed by a certificate of excellent questionnaire and a complimentary bottle of wine from the professor's favorite wine region of Bilány. So thank you so much for your attention, and I am very happy to leave the floor to my students to present their projects. Thank you.